Welcome to this week's edition of Georgia Florida Baseball, brought to you by Georgia Showcase Baseball and its owner, Coach Ben Howes. Ben, how we doing?
Doing good, KP. How are you?
I'm great. Today we have Eddie Phelps from GBSA Rays. Their website is www.gbsabaseball.org. Eddie, how we doing?
Doing pretty good today.
Good. Thank you very much for giving us some of your time today, Eddie. I appreciate that.
Hey, thank you guys for having me today.
Awesome. Today we're going to talk about Eddie's organization a little bit. We're going to talk about collaborating between organizations so that the baseball community can grow. And we're going to talk about what parents should look for when they decide what facility, what program they want their kid to be in. And we're going to do all of that after this.
This is the Georgia Florida Baseball Show, brought to you by Coach Ben Howes, with Kevin Perkins from Surrounded by Sports.
Okay, we're back. We have Eddie Phelps here. We have Ben Howes here. We have Kevin Perkins here. And you need to stop if you're watching this, like and subscribe to the Georgia Showcase Baseball channel on YouTube, because that's how you're watching it now. So you like what you're watching, subscribe to it. I want to thank Ben. Did you know we have a sponsor?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we do. They're called the Dixon Firm. For justice sake, they say the Dixon Firm. And I believe they say when a cheap lawyer won't do, the Dixon Firm. So thank you for jumping on and sponsoring us. And now, Ben, tell us a little bit about Eddie Phelps.
Well, I met Eddie, I think it was 2011. I think our kids were about 6 years old. And I had a team out of Exchange Park. Exchange Park is out of Decatur, Georgia. And I had a little rec team. And, I was trying to get some scrimmage games going and trying to just kind of feel, I thought I had a pretty good team at that time. And someone told me about Eddie and his team. I think at the time he had the Georgia Yard Dogs out of Gresham Park. And we went over and scrimmaged Eddie. And at that moment, I knew that it was levels to the game as far as rec ball and travel ball. The Georgia Yard Dogs were one of the quote top teams in the state of Georgia at that time. Their organization was one of the top organizations at that time. And that's when I kind of got baptized to travel ball, just knowing the levels to playing travel ball versus playing rec ball.
Right. And so, Eddie, why don't you tell us a little, basically you realized, I got to get better at this. Right, Ben?
Oh yeah, of course.
Right.
That's when I kind of went to the drawing board and just kind of figured, I gotta show my kids different things now.
Right.
Fundamentals were there, but it's just the skill set needed to get, needed to get better. And not only that, but to actually get them into more competition out of the park and playing more competitive baseball.
Right. Eddie, how did you get into travel baseball? And tell us a little bit about your GBSA Rays organization.
The first program that I got involved with was the Georgia Yard Dogs that was out of Gresham Park. After then, I actually built GBSA, which actually the Yard Dogs stopped at 12 back then. It went from 6-year-old to 12-year-old. And I wanted something that went all the way through to follow the guys all the way through 18 until they went to college. So I started GBSA and we over 30 kids drafted at this point.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I looked at your website. I think I saw upwards of 70 kids that have had college scholarships at all different levels, from SEC baseball through HBCU to smaller colleges to junior college. And then you had upwards of 20 kids drafted too, right?
Correct. Yeah, we've actually, it's a little bit more now. We got over 200 kids have been to college, and we got about 70 kids that have graduated from college already.
Wow.
And I actually have a son of my own also that's at an SEC school. He's at the University of Georgia now as a freshman.
That's got to feel pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that felt pretty great.
Now, he's how you got started? Is that right?
Well, actually, I coached a couple years before I had a son, but yeah, that's kind of how I kind of started, just creating an organization um, to have somewhere for my kid to be able to play all the way until he got old enough.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about how you and Ben's organization, Georgia Showcase Baseball, collaborate.
Well, a lot of times we've scrimmaged and a lot of things. We bounce ideas off each other when it comes to the travel ball and things like that. So, like you said, it's different levels of travel ball. There's different um, places to go. Ben has actually done a great job with actually creating another stream of tournaments down that way also. So you're able to send guys down there to play and things like that outside of just playing some of your PG and PBR tournaments.
Right. So Ben, I believe you handle very young kids, right? A little bit of overlap
Yeah.
in your organization. Go ahead, Ben. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah, we start at 7. We go up to I think we have a 14U team, 14, 15U team this year. But we pride ourselves on starting young and developing. So when those kids do get up of age and decide to leave, they're ready because the development part is already there. So they can just about go and play just about anywhere, and someone's gonna know they've been coached just by their skill sets leaving out of the program.
Right. And Eddie, your program starts at what age?
At 10,
And moves up to
18.
right. And so there's a little bit of overlap there, but one of your goals, I would assume, Ben, is to have a kid ready to play for a
Yeah.
group like Eddie.
Yeah, Eddie does a great job with getting kids exposed to colleges and to pro scouts. We talk often, about different kids and trying to get kids in situation to be able to succeed and go on and follow their dreams. So yeah, my son actually played for Eddie. I think Jamie was, I don't know, 14. I think Eddie 13 or 14. Played
Mm-hmm.
for him for a while. Yeah, so he's playing college baseball now. He's at Wallace State Junior College playing baseball. He's a freshman now. So yeah, so it does a real good job with with getting kids exposed and putting kids in situations to succeed and actually follow their dreams.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we're going to take a quick break here and we're going to watch a commercial for Showcase Apparel. We're going to watch a little clip for the Dixon Firm, for justice sake. And then we're going to come back and talk a little bit about what parents need to look for when they decide they want their kid to be a good ball player. Eddie, what are some of the things that you think a parent should look for when he's making a commitment, or the mom, the dad, they're both making a commitment for their child to be a good ball player? And I guess this would matter in basketball, softball, whatever sport you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of those things?
Some of the things are, you want to look at the coaching actually. You want to be able to be with a coach that actually develops your kid. You have to have your kid in a situation where he's able to grow, not just because of a name to say, oh, this program is this or whatever. It has to be specifically for your kid to be able to grow in that situation. That's the reason why we have a lot of different organizations. Every organization is not for everybody.
Right. I looked at I kind of stalked you online today, if you don't mind. I looked, and you have kids from all over the world.
Yes. So the way that works is with us, we have a partnership with a school down in Statesboro, Georgia, called Georgia Premier Academy. This is a partnership we've had over like the last 7 years at this point. And the way it kind of works is we get kids in, international kids in from there. We send a lot of kids in from Atlanta down to Georgia Premier for the training aspect. They go down there and do high school. Also, they play a high school season down there, and they have a conference called the NAA conference that that they play in, and it's very competitive. We play a lot of guys that are actually big time D1 guys, guys that get drafted in that conference also. So the way that works, all the kids come back here and play fall ball, and they play their spring, summer tournaments here also. But they play their high school season and train down there in Statesboro.
Okay, so let's say we're gonna go back to younger than that, right? We're looking at a 10-year-old, 12-year-old. We got to know the coaching's working. We need to look at finance, how much we have to spend,
Right.
things like that, and then we probably need to look at. I threw this out there earlier when we were talking because I realized what traffic's like in Atlanta.
Right.
You need to look at your proximity to the ballpark.
Correct. Yeah, all that really matters. Like I say, with the coaching aspect of the organization and things like that, you got to have your kid where your kid's growing in that aspect, and you want to be, at the closest place possible where he's able to grow. You don't want to have to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours a day to get your kid, training and practicing and things like that. It's not going to really matter as far as like the playing aspect because everybody's going to have to travel to different places anyway. But as far as like for your kid to actually get the practice, get their training, and still be able to get their homework done and eat in a proper mannerly time, you got to make sure it works out all the way around.
Now, I believe I saw you expected 3.5 in your program.
Yes, that is our goal. Every kid that's in the program, 3.5 or better. That's because of academic pieces when it comes to college. That's money first off. So there are no really full scholarships in baseball.
Correct.
If somebody's going to give you 100% scholarship in baseball, that means they know you're going to get drafted. So
right.
You got to have that academic piece to go with the baseball piece for it to come out to 100%.
Well, and you're also talking about if you're spending 18 hours a week in your car with your kid, you're talking about he's eating fast food because you're going to drive home. He's doing his homework in his car, which is going to hurt his GPA, and the quality of life for your parent, the kid's friends, the kid's siblings all reduces because they're not getting to have, I think the goal of all this is really to have well-adjusted, great young people.
Correct.
That's hard to do if you're spending a full day in the vehicle over the course of your 7 that you get a week,
Oh, yeah.
And I do want to go back though. Now, the kid's gotten a little bit older. And so now we're looking for exposure. Is that right?
Yes, that's the main thing at that point. So you got to be with a program that's going to get your kid out there and be seen. That's going to push your kid out. Social media is big with Twitter and things like that. You got to be able to do that. And then a lot of the different tournaments and different showcases and things like that, got to be able to go do that. And the organization needs to push that kid out there. Have some kind of system where they can show the kids GPA, video of the kid and things like that to send to the different schools also.
Right, and that's vital.
Correct.
If you're trying to get the child, the young man, a way to go to school and or play pro ball, but primarily go to school.
Correct, because it's different than like me and Ben grew up playing and things like that. How you would have guys just show up pretty much like, oh, let's see who's playing over here this week or whatever. Like now, there's a lot of coaches that are lazy. They just really want to sit back and see what they can see on film and things like that, and then go to major tournaments to be able to see a lot of kids in one place at that point.
Right. I played a ball game in high school, Eddie, against the guy over there, against Ben House. I was told there were 7 scouts in the stands.
Okay.
To watch Ben pitch. Waiting for me, Eddie.
He said they went for you.
Now,
Well, I
Ben,
think it worked out pretty well for him.
it did. Now, Ben, talk about how you try to prioritize these things for the younger kids and how you make it make sense for a parent to give their kid over to you.
Well, the first thing, just what Eddie talked a little bit about was the development piece. Is we try to start young and we try to develop these kids into being able, once they leave the program, then they can go on, if they choose to go on to bigger organizations, because the groundwork is already laid. They're fundamentally sound. The IQ is up. They've been exposed to tournaments, playing in some of the bigger tournaments. And just like Eddie spoke on, we're now trying to get, we are getting the bigger tournaments on the south side of Atlanta, Perfect Game, to come down to the south side to actually play in some of these major tournaments. Your World Wood Bats, which is unheard of, playing on the south side of Atlanta. Last year, we had World Wood Bat here in Morrow, Georgia. So teams from all over were playing all over the nation. Teams from California, team from Michigan, teams from Florida, teams from Alabama. Everyone was coming here to play on the south side of Atlanta. So now we're exposing these kids to things that they're used to seeing up north. We got scouts coming down here from all different colleges, D1 colleges, junior colleges. We have pro scouts coming down here, seeing some of these kids, because a lot of these teams that are coming here to play, majority of them have commits on their teams already. So when you're playing against teams, when you got a team 18 to 20 man roster, and you got 17 kids already committed to D1 schools, who's not going to flock down here to watch these kids play? So this is a platform for the kids to actually get a chance to play around better competition, and also get exposed to colleges and pro scouts.
Okay, real quick, before we wrap, I want to A, thank the Dixon Firm for sponsoring us. B, I want to thank you, Ben, for starting this pod and sponsoring and having me come on board. I really enjoy this. This is great. But I want to ask Eddie a question. Who's your hitting coach over there, Dr. Frankenstein? I watch some of those kids on Instagram, and man, they have beautiful swings.
So the funny thing that you asked that, I'm actually the hitting coach for the program. So
Oh, that's well, hey, that wasn't even a plant. I didn't know.
Yeah, I actually do all the hitting stuff in the organization for our guys.
Okay, well, after we get a couple of these going, we got to have you back and talk hitting, because a lot of times when I watch the modern swing, even at the pro level, guys are pulling out. They're getting that exit velocity because they're getting a little bit of that lift, but they're heels up before the contact, if you know what I'm saying. And when I watch your kids, it's a controlled, powerful swing with an uppercut, with a slight uppercut, but also the ball, their foot, they're locked in through contact, and then they start to come out. It's really impressive to what I saw. And I'm sure that on Instagram you're showing me highlights, of course, but I saw 7 different kids with basically the same beautiful swing from both sides of the plate.
Yeah, we call it organized chaos.
100%. There's violence right up until it's calm, and then there's violence, and then it's up. It's beautiful, man. It's well done.
Yeah, and one thing, like you said, if you have me back again, one of my biggest guys that came through the program that I still work with a lot is Cedric Mullins, also the Baltimore Orioles. He's one of our biggest names that ever came through. So you kind of watch a lot of his swing. A lot of it's the same also.
Right. Okay, well, I think, Ben, you got any questions? You got anything else you want to say?
No, I'm good. Eddie, I appreciate you coming on, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate the invite.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, folks. Thank you for watching us. Again, check out Showcase Apparel. Check us out, like, subscribe on this channel. Look into the Dixon Law Firm. Thank you, Dixon Law Firm, for coming on and helping support us. If you want to support us, you can reach out to Ben How.
My direct number is 678-469-5994. My email is showcasebaseball.georgia, spelled out, at gmail.com. And my IG is showcasebaseball_GA.
Eddie, you want to tell us how people can find you?
Yeah, my direct number is 678-438-2032. Our email is gbsa13@gmail.com. Our Twitter is GBSA Rays. And also our IG is CBA Georgia.
Excellent. Excellent. So that's a wrap for us here at Georgia Showcase Baseball. You have been watching the Georgia Florida Baseball Show. Thank you very much.